Let's do this. I'm drinking some cheap-ass beer out of literally a plastic bottle. Like, it looks like a Coca-Cola plastic bottle, but it's beer in there. It's
wow.
weird.
You can really fuck up some kids with that.
Yeah.
Hey,
It
kids.
even has cute cartoon characters on it. It's called Bumblebee 17. So it has A, cartoon characters, 2, it's named after a Transformer, and 3, it's in a plastic bottle. So yeah.
Christ, I think all you need to do is be in a park and whip your cock out at some minors and you'd have the Holy Trinity. Welcome down to the abyssal lair of the radiophonic sea creatures. Snag your nuts in a lobster trap because I, Tokyo Choo Choo, am going to be your host today. And with me, as always, is a man who loves to snag his nuts on all manner of household items. It's Brack. How you doing today, Brack?
Yeah, no, I don't really like to snack my nuts on household items, but I really like to snack my nuts all over Avengers Age of Ultron.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what I was doing.
I bet you love to snack your nuts.
You know, if I was alone in the theater watching Avengers Age of Ultron, I probably would be naked watching it.
Well, actually, to be fair, I'd be honest. I'd be naked many places if I could. But anyway, how was Age of Ultron?
It was pretty amazing. This was definitely the most exciting movie for me, like in the last 2 years. Like I was so excited for this. I kept my eyes closed during all the trailers when I was like in the movie theater. I just like put my hands in front of my eyes so I didn't get spoiled. So that was like everything what happened on screen was new for me, and it was great. It's filled with action and comedy, and it was just like an amazing time. And I think everybody is gonna enjoy this movie. Actually, it was kind of weird this time because I watched it mostly with girls. And normally when I go to like a movie theater like this, it's mostly filled with guys. But this time it wasn't. And you notice that really a lot whenever Captain America in like a tight t-shirt is on screen. It's like, oh, like that. Those sounds are made throughout the entire theater, which is kind of awkward sometimes.
That's weird. What? But did you whip your nuts out and snack on them whenever Captain America was in a tight shirt on screen?
I should have, but no. I'm more of a Thor guy. You know, he's just that hair, that the beard. He looks a little bit more dreamy to me.
So the Avengers, the second one is I think it's taken modest reviews. So you know, it's not been intensely like critically respected. I mean, it's had a bit of a fair showing, but do you think that it's superior to the original Avengers, or how do you feel about that?
Actually, I think it's better than the original Avengers, yeah. I think there's definitely the bad guy has more of a menace, and the action, in my opinion, is better. There's like this extended sequence in the middle, which with the Hawk, which is really amazing. And actually, I think they for like almost every single character gets some like character moments, some emotional moments that actually work, especially for like Bruce Banner. His character, they focus on him for like some emotional moments, and it actually really works. I think that actor, Mark Ruffalo, is probably actually the strongest actor out of all the entire cast, and he, even then though they don't give him like a lot, he does like amazing stuff with it.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I think maybe Mark Ruffalo was kind of underutilized in the first Avengers. I'd like to see a standard Hulk film with him in it actually, but. Yeah, because the previous Hulk films weren't great. Yeah, either of them.
I kind of liked Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton, but it wasn't like an amazing movie.
I wonder why they didn't get Eddie Norton into the Avengers. Strange, isn't it? Although
I know why it is.
Why?
Because Edward Norton, like he was angry at them because they changed, like he had actually a final cut at the script or like the movie or something like that, and they changed stuff, so he was angry at them, and then like. He's just like a bit of a drama queen, and then they kicked him off. It was funny actually because this one of the scenes they cut that he wanted to keep in there. They mentioned that in the first Avengers movie because Mark Ruffalo mentions like he tried to commit suicide and like when he shot himself, like the other guy, as he calls the Hulk, spit out a bullet, and that was actually a scene in the original The Incredible Hulk that they cut out.
Although I'm happy they did kick Edward Norton out, because as much as I like Edward Norton, I like Mark Ruffalo a little bit more. So
yeah, I think maybe Edward Norton is actually maybe a better actor, but not for this role, in my opinion.
I don't know about that. I mean, you look at Mark Ruffalo's work, like if you look at him in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, unrecognizable as Mark Ruffalo. Also, his performance in Collateral as well. You compare that to like his performance in.
I didn't even remember that he was in Collateral, so yeah.
Yeah,
maybe you're right.
Yeah, he's like a chameleon sometimes. He can really like totally absorb the character and like. You know, he alters his physical appearance. You just can't recognize him often. So he's actually a pretty damn fine actor, I think. I was thinking about taking, my daughter to see Age of Ultron because she quite liked the first Avengers. But I hear like James Spader's Ultron is actually a really kind of frightening bad guy and maybe not appropriate for small children. What do you think about that?
I think he definitely is more frightening than like than the last one. He's especially really menacing. Like, he's a really good bad guy. And I think that's the main reason actually people are not that happy about it. Because his character takes some turns in like the later half, which, that people don't really like. I didn't have that much of a problem with it, but I can understand where people are coming from.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I'm not having seen the film. I have no idea what you're talking about, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing that.
There's definitely like a threat there and a menace there that wasn't, in my opinion, with Loki, who actually felt like every single Avenger on its own could kick his ass, even Hawkeye. You know what I mean? Maybe not Hawkeye, or Black Widow, but everybody else could kick his ass.
Yeah, certainly the best moment in the first Avengers film was where the Hulk had his run-in with Loki. That was just that's so classic. I remember laughing so hard during that moment. So I got a couple things to talk about myself. So I'm going to go into the video game section first. So I've been going old school, really old school recently. So I re-downloaded Shovel Knight on PlayStation 4. So I decided to buy that because playing it on the couch on the huge TV, I think is a significant improvement over playing it on my Diddy laptop. So
definitely.
Yeah, and they translated the controls perfectly. Music is just kick-ass as always, and you can really see the patience they put into like parallax scrolling and shit like that when you're playing it on the big TV. So, and what more is there to say about Shovel Knight? It's amazing.
How is the new boss fight like against Kratos? Or have you haven't been there yet?
I haven't been there yet, so I'm looking forward to that. Yeah,
me too.
I'm also looking forward to the DLC as well. So I think there's some DLC, maybe extra levels, or I remember they said you could play as the boss characters. They're going to make DLC where you can actually play as the boss characters with their original power-ups, which kind of fundamentally changes the game. So,
including Kratos, that would be pretty great actually. If they had like a Kratos character in there.
Yeah, who instead of like shoveling the creatures or whatever, just picks them up and like rips them in half or something.
Yeah,
that'd be amazing. You like get to like the snow boss or whatever, and instead of like the usual battle, Kratos just like fucking like stabs knives in his eyes or something.
You get like those quick time events, in God of War like that, and then
yeah, that would be amazing. I hope they do it. Do it. I demand it. But yeah. I mean, Shovel Knight is one of the best 2D platformers like ever made. For me personally, probably is my favorite action platformer like I ever played in my life. That doesn't include Metroid. I think Metroid still is better, but I don't think Metroid is a straight action platformer. There's like there's the whole adventure element, which puts it slightly outside of the sphere of Shovel Knight, I think, but still. Shovel Knight is just amazing.
Yeah, Shovel Knight is more like Mega Man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's in the same boat as like Sonic the Hedgehog and Mario and stuff like that. So
only way better than any Sonic of the Hedgehog games, of course.
Sonic of the Hedgehog. Well, fundamentally,
Yes, I got him there. You got him there.
well,
You have to admit it.
incrementally, yes, okay, I'll give you that. But Sonic and Knuckles, Sonic 3 combined with Sonic and Knuckles, that's a close call. But still, I think I do like Shovel Knight more. But also, I really enjoyed my time with Shovel Knight, and recently I don't have a TV in my bedroom, which is kind of weird. So I don't have any entertainment in my bedroom at all. So recently I started to
Except for your wife.
Enough about that. So I basically transported my laptop upstairs, and so I started to use the Famicom emulator, the old NES emulator. So actually, I've been really caning the shit out of a game called Kabuki Quantum Fighter, which is an amazing NES game. So if you like Mega Man or Shovel Knight and stuff like that, I highly recommend the Kabuki Quantum Fighter. It was always one of my favorite Famicom games when I was a kid. And it's one of those Famicom games like DuckTales that just really, really holds up these days too, and is like eminently playable. So if you have an emulator, and let's face it, who doesn't? Shovel Knight is the way to go. And I personally have this amazing controller that's exactly like the old Famicom controllers.
He's actually putting it in front of the camera, which doesn't help for the people listening. Though.
No, it doesn't. But you can see it, Bragg. You can attest.
I can see it. Yes.
It's exactly like the old Famicom.
He's right. He's right. It's an amazing controller.
It is an amazing controller, and when you're holding it, it feels exactly like you're playing like the Famicom and stuff. So I never get why people would play emulators like on their keyboard. That's so terrible. Why would you play Mario?
I actually always use like my PlayStation controller. Like I like playing Mario with a PlayStation controller. It makes me feel wrong, but it plays alright.
I guess so. As long as you're using a controller and not like bashing on the keyboards. So that was my video game stuff. Kind of as I say, like really old school. So I find it endlessly amusing that I have a PlayStation 4 and I got like these huge budget games like Dragon Age Inquisition, and I still haven't finished the Order 1886 yet. So
it's like 20 minutes.
Yeah,
play 20 minutes and it's done.
We've got about 30 minutes to go, yeah. But I still haven't played the end of that. And I got like Far Cry 4, which I have barely touched, and Grand Theft Auto 5, which I'm about like 20% through or something like that on PS4.
This sounds so horrible to me, especially because I really like this. One of the only things I'm really looking forward to when I get back home is getting my PS4 and getting like The Order and Batman and like GTA 5 and whatever other games that came out in between that I was gone to play. And you're like, yeah, I got those games, but you know what? I'm just going to play my Famicom emulator. Like, oh, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Like, what's holding my attention? Fucking Shovel Knight. 2D platformer. That doesn't exactly make the best of the PS4's requirements, but like, and fucking Kabuki Quantum Fighter on the emulator, like, so I don't know, something's kind of strange. But anyway, so those games are amazing. And with that, we're going to move out of the shallows and into the depths. Welcome back to the depths. So today on the depths we are obviously sans human metal, because I think he spotted someone reading a book, so he has gone off to try and burn it. So but yeah, so we're sans human metal anyway. But we're going to be talking today about sequels to video games. So last week we talked about movie sequels. So this week we're going to be talking about video game sequels. So we got one good sequel and one bad sequel each. So let's jump straight in, I guess, straight off of that. So Bragg, what do you think we should go for? Should we go bad sequel or good sequel first? What do you reckon?
Well, let's start with bad.
All right.
Let's just start with bad. Should I start?
Oh, shit before sugar. All right, yeah, go ahead. Jump straight in.
My game is Driver 3, which was like the Driver game where they tried to be GTA and failed horribly, because it was the game where you could get out of the car and you could go run and shoot people and stuff like that. But all the controls were just the worst. Like you couldn't, like, walking around felt like even worse than in like the old Resident Evil games.
Is that possible?
It doesn't even feel. Yeah, that was possible. It's not. It doesn't even feel like you're controlling like a tank. It felt like you were. Yeah, it felt like you're controlling a tank, but like it was a broken tank. Like it was just shut all to pieces, and you just tried to walk it down the street. Like it was even really a big challenge because I never finished the game, of course. It was a really big challenge to get to through the challenge, the tutorial challenges in the beginning for the shooting sequence because it was so bad that I couldn't I had to try it over 5 times before I actually got through it. That was the bad. Have you ever actually played Driver 3?
No, I've never played Driver 3. No, I think I heard about it back in the day, but I was never a fan of that particular series myself. I don't know, it didn't appeal to me. I remember playing the first Driver quite a bit, but I just never got into that series. Were you a big Driver fan before that game?
No, I like the first one, and I actually like one of the later ones, like the last one, San Francisco, Driver San Francisco, which I actually had a unique element where you could change you could go in a Matrix where the agents just appear in somebody's car, they take over the human being like that. You could actually do that in the game. You could just leave your body and go as a ghost into somebody else's car and just take over their body and keep driving.
Was that fun?
Yeah, it was fun because then you have you're just racing and you can just oh shit, I have to get this car out of the way. You just switch your car, the car you want to win, to a car in the front and just crash into your opponent, and then you get back to your normal car and just drive over the finish line, stuff like that. And they played with that in really some good ways. And Driver 3 actually they tried to have a lot of Hollywood stars in there. So I think the main character is actually voiced by Michael Madsen. But that's not the Hollywood star anymore. Let's be honest. I think I have $50 and a Twix, and I can get Michael Madsen to be in my student film for a day.
He doesn't even want the $50. He just wants the Twix.
He just wants the Twix. Yeah. That's it. But it also had Ving Rhames and Michelle Rodriguez, Mickey Rourke, Iggy Pop for some fucking reason. I don't know why Iggy Pop is in that game, but he is there doing
after
one of the characters.
After The Crow 2, why would anybody have Iggy Pop in anything?
Yeah. Couldn't they get David Bowie or something?
Yeah.
That's a lot better.
Well, maybe he just doesn't like Twixes.
Yeah, I think so.
Although, frankly, who doesn't like Twixes? I haven't had a Twix for years. Jesus, they don't have Twixes out here.
They don't have Twix there?
No, they don't have Twixes out here.
You just have to deal with your insane Kit Kats.
Yeah, I once say tomato Kit Kat and cheese Kit Kats. Neither of those was nice, let me tell you. Yeah, I think I guess my bad sequel would basically be Assassin's Creed. The Assassin's Creed franchise. So, Assassin's Creed 1 was flawed, but, it was something new. I loved it at the time. Of course, it was kind of a little really repetitive in its mission structure, but the uniqueness of it at the time, was really fantastic. And Assassin's Creed 2, expanded well, and the offshoots of Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood and Revelations, I enjoyed the shit out of those. And then, wow, Assassin's Creed 3, great, amazing, starting the engine from scratch again, and changing to America and stuff, and people were going batshit crazy for it. Oh my god, what a shit stain of a game. One of the most fucking boring pieces of crap. Just terrible in every way. It started out promising, that Haytham guy who you start out the game with was a kind of an interesting character, and it had
Haytham was like 007 in the olden days.
Yeah.
He was pretty smooth with the ladies. He had gadgets. He felt like he was a secret agent or something. It actually that worked really well.
Yeah.
But yeah.
As soon as you
it all went downhill from there.
Yeah, indeed. They just put you in the shoes of an insanely bland character who is no fun to play as.
Such a hypocrite bitch as well. There's this one point where he gets mad at his father for killing somebody. And throughout the game, like that character has killed like thousands of people. I'm like, while playing the game, I'm just running around the street and like seeing guards and just stabbing them in the back and then run away, like for fun. And then he gets like pissed off because his dad kills like a guard who may have not have been bad. So, like, oh come on.
Who cares?
Yeah, it's sort of a bitch.
That reminds me of like Red Dead Redemption. You know, when I first got Red Dead Redemption, like because it was made by the people of Grand Theft Auto. I just used to play it like Grand Theft Auto when I first got that game, and like it didn't quite ring with me. But you know, like I remember I used to you have the fucking what's it like the karma. Meter, like where you get good reputation or something for like doing good things, and if you murder lots of people you get negative. But I found if you drown people, like it doesn't affect the karma. So like I remember like repeatedly hog-tying people, taking them to wherever there was water and then dropping them in there and watching them drown.
Actually, in Assassin's Creed 3, I did something the same way because you couldn't like kill normal citizens, but you could choke the hell out of them. You could just walk up there like unarmed and just choke them, and then like you choke them out, you knock them out, and drop them on the ground, and nobody cares. Like there's no negative karma effect. So like for a while I was like walking around the street, just every citizen I saw, like there's an old lady, just grab her, knocking her out. But then, like you look back, and you have like the entire like street is filled with people that's knocked out on the ground.
Yeah. Oh, that's hilarious. Do you remember in Grand Theft Auto? No, not Grand Theft Auto. In Red Dead Redemption, that there's the old guy who wants you to get flowers for his wife or whatever, and his wife is dead. Like I remember after that mission was finished, I hog-tied that fucker and drowned him.
Aww.
Red Dead Redemption was amazing though. Like, although Red Dead Redemption was so good, it was after you realise that you shouldn't be playing it like Grand Theft Auto. When you start treating John Marston as like a hero, that's when that game like really comes alive and just becomes something like truly special. It's amazing. But yeah. Anyway, getting back to
how shitty Assassin's Creed 3 is.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed 3 was really boring, and personally, like America is a country with no history, so why you would base a history-based game in America? So sorry to offend the Americans.
I think also like America, especially at that time period, is not really good for the Assassin's Creed gameplay because the houses are so far apart. Like didn't do any free running in the game at all. Like because it's way more fast to just run on the ground, run around, because the streets are wide open and all that kind of stuff, than it is to actually climb up and like walk on the rooftops.
Yeah, and all those fucking copy-paste trees. Oh, like people were like, oh, it's amazing you can climb trees and go through them. And it's like, those aren't trees, those are like pieces of Lego bricks with leaves on them. Like, oh man. So, I don't know, they're just too long-winded, and also like the way that the combat was. They restarted the engine. I found like the game mechanics and the combat were much more clunky than they were previously, especially in Revelations specifically. So I also didn't appreciate that change. And the thing is, like, I couldn't finish that game because it was so long and so boring and so much of a chore to play for me personally. But I couldn't recover from that. I mean, Black Flag is definitely a better game than 3, but still, I haven't been able to push through and finish Black Flag. I feel like there's a kind of cloud hanging over the Assassin's Creed franchise, and I think Assassin's Creed 3 was the major game that put it there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think so as well, actually. Yeah, I think there was already some people with Revelations that really felt like such a side game, like a meaningless side game.
I love that game, personally.
I know you do, but I know that there are a lot of people that's not that keen on that game. And yeah, 3 was really like the end. And it's also like every year, like it's just getting milked too much now. Yeah. Like I haven't even played the last one, like at all, like not even a single bit. I don't think I'm even interested in it. Like, and that used to be a franchise where I was like, whenever they showed the first trailer of the new game, I was really excited to at least even watch the trailer, because it's like, new gameplay and everything. What is the stuff they're gonna change, stuff like that. But yeah, it really fell off the wagon a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Like, seriously, totally killed it. For, like you say, it's completely changed. It was like, oh man, yeah, there's another Assassin's Creed game coming. Oh, it's gonna be awesome. And nowadays it's like, oh yeah, another Assassin's Creed game already? Are you kidding me? What the fuck?
How many games do they like make this year? Like 5 or something? Like, it's insane.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I don't know. Those games are not short. They're impossible to, play. So, I mean, if they took like 3 years off and like, I don't know, then came back with an Assassin's Creed game like 3 years down the line, I'd be like, oh yeah, maybe it might be fun to play another Assassin's Creed game. But
those games have such like long tutorials, like the tutorial missions, and like the first few hours feel like they're one long tutorial, and it's like, I finished the last one like 3 months ago. I still know how the shit works. All right, you don't have to show it to me again. Especially like in the Assassin's Creed 3, like the entire section in the beginning where you're a kid. How long? Like, you can hide in the trees. And like half an hour later, and then you can do this. Like half an hour practicing that. And yeah, it's just so filled with obnoxious, stupid shit. Like, yeah.
Pretty much, unless something major happens, I'm pretty much done. Like you, like Assassin's Creed Unity or something. I literally didn't even consider like picking it up. Like, I think it's the first Assassin's Creed game released in the franchise that I've not even remotely even considered, not looked at all with any sense of like, oh, maybe.
I actually was kind of excited, but I heard like just complaints, like nothing good about it at all. So I haven't like considered it since then. And also, like, the games are so buggy. Like, Assassin's Creed 3 was really buggy in a funny way at some points. Because, like, every once in a while, you were having a fight, and you, instead of, like, punching them, you used the force, because I was punching somebody, and he was, like, a couple, like, meters away, but the animations are still the same, so it looks like he got force punched the entire time. Stuff like that. And there's one part that I found hilarious, because you have those boxing matches, right? You can go boxing. And one of the moves, like Connor has, is like, while like meleeing, like without weapons, is taking the guy and like breaking his neck. I was just boxing, and I just break the guy's neck. And everybody around you is like, yeah, awesome. And so, like, his friends are around you, like, celebrating. Well, you just killed their friend. It's like, so it takes you out of the game, but it's like hilarious at some points as well. So.
Yeah, I remember seeing a hilarious glitch where there was a bear on top of like a cliff or something, and I was down in the I don't know, like a valley or something like that. Like, I remember seeing the bear literally sink through the cliff. Like, and actually, like, just the bear's head was sticking out the cliff, and it was slowly sinking down to ground level. I was like, that's really weird and funny. And I was laughing about it, and then suddenly the like an elevator, the bear came charging out of the cliff at ground level and killed me.
Actually, I had one funny in Assassin's Creed 3 as well. There was like this normal patrol, and it was like, I'm gonna just kick their asses. But for some reason, the sound files or something were mixed up, so they had like the voices of like the female characters that just walk down the street. So I just beating up like an entire like patrol of soldiers, and they have like they sound like women. Their voices are mixed. So like, like it's high pitched voices and everything. And it was so weird.
Those are the type of moments where you wish the PlayStation 3 had like the share function.
Yeah.
PlayStation 4, man. Yeah, so that would be my sequel. Like I say, I don't think Assassin's Creed is quite recovered from that clusterfuck. So that's bad sequels for you. But how about good sequels, Brack? What was a really, really great sequel for you? Something that was just totally awesome.
I think you can guess it. I'll give you like 2 guesses.
Leisure Suit Larry 2. That'd be my first guess. Am I right?
Close, but no cigar.
Oh, close. Oh, hang on a minute. God of War 3.
Nope. Uncharted 2, of course.
Oh, that's terrible.
I thought
that's a bad game. No, and I'm joking.
I know. Not enough letters. I know. I probably already know yours as well. So
Yeah, probably. So tell us about that overrated, the overrated Uncharted.
No, I know you're one of the few people that actually like Uncharted 3 better.
Yeah,
Huh?
I do.
But for me, Uncharted 2, it blew my mind. It's like one of those perfect sequels that improves on everything, every single thing. That was good in the first one. It added new characters, which are all like great. It is the first game, in my opinion, which actually achieves like the action movie status, where it actually feels like you're playing an action movie, like Indiana Jones, like the actual It's not just like the shootout like that, which happen like in other movies and like other video games. You have normal shootouts or fight scenes or stuff like that. But this is like the first game where you can actually play the set pieces, like the big explosive set pieces. You see like a Michael Bay movie or something, but not as bad, of course, but way better. Like, and this is the first game where you actually cutscenes. And normally in video games, that's like the cutscene is like the big explosions, and then you get back to just shooting people. And I think this is the first game where I can actually play those moments. That's the main reason. And of course, I really liked the story. I think the character of Drake is great. Like the writing in the second one is really good. It's really hard to say bad things about it because there are none. So yeah, it's just a great game.
I'm going to say some bad things about it, so I can make up for you there. So
I'm gonna do the same when you start talking about like BioShock Infinite.
I'm not going to talk about BioShock Infinite. Come on. So
that's not your sequel?
No, it's not my sequel. Of course it isn't.
Really?
What are you talking about? That's crazy talk. So basically, Uncharted 2, like, I agree with. I don't think it was a bad game. So I'm just going to say that. Like, I did not think it was a bad game, but I don't know. There were some things about the game that didn't quite gel with me. I think the mechanics sometimes felt kind of basic at times. The actual gameplay mechanics, and also some of the climbing mechanics were pretty poorly done, I think, sometimes. You can only really grab things that are specifically designed to be grabbed, but often, there are two ledges there, and the only difference between them is one of them has a slight yellow stain on it. So, like, I found that annoying, specifically after being spoiled a little bit with the Assassin's Creed games. The early Assassin's Creed games, obviously, as we've already talked about, but the real rub for me was the action sequences. So, the story of Uncharted was great, but I feel some of the action sequences were too gamey, too much, like, threw too much at your plate. Like, there were some sequences, for example, Drake's like a jovial kind of person, but there are literally sequences where he kills like 100 people. For example, the church sequence where you're in the middle of that square and then all those people, those reinforcements keep arriving. I was like, when I was playing that, I was like, is this never going to end? How many people have I shot? Like, fucking hell. Like, and the sequence where he's jumping from, like, around the convoy, from truck to truck or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's, like, one of my favorite sequences, actually. I really like that sequence.
Yeah, the thing is, for me, it was like, how many cars can there possibly be in this convoy? Like,
the guy brought a tank.
I guess so.
So, yeah. He can bring a couple of cars.
I don't know, but it felt very kind of like gamey style. Like, I don't know, action for action's sake. I mean, yeah, it is a game, but I don't know. It just felt like too much, and especially the story was so good. Like, it didn't quite gel. Like, it's like the the Order 1886, where the action sequences gel with the plot line, and people don't like it because the action sequences are too short, but they feel proportionally realistic to the story. Whereas Uncharted, the action sequences feel like disproportionately elongated compared to what the story was doing. And maybe that's a reflection of the story, because the story was great. Like, and I don't know.
But I think you can say that about like every single game. Like,
yeah,
Red Dead Redemption, for example. The guy kills like thousands of people, maybe.
Yeah.
And that's when he's actually trying to redeem himself, when he's killing thousands of people. You know what I mean? Like, almost every single game has that problem. That's like something you have to overcome.
1886, though.
Overcome to enjoy video games, I think. You have to overcome it, like, you're killing like way more people than you do like in any movie, video game. There's no way around it.
Yeah, I can see that, but I think like
That's in my opinion, it's like the same complaint as saying like, oh yeah, he can like take two bullets, and like the next scene he's okay. In a video game, that makes sense that happens. Otherwise, shot and like you're just dying the entire rest of the game. That wouldn't be any fun. Like it's part of it that makes it a game. Otherwise, there's no game.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, and of course, fundamentally, I agree with you, but I think there are other ways around it. Look at The Last of Us. The Last of Us didn't feel like that. Didn't have that problem, you know.
Actually, I think people had the same problem as you have with The Last of Us, that he kills like too many people. I didn't either, because I think it's like part of the thing you have to like overcome to enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's.
Well, you also I think
that's part of it around it.
Yeah, I think Last of Us is different, because The Last of Us, you know, they're in a world where everybody wants to kill them. You know, where it's like a dog-eat-dog world, isn't it? But in Uncharted 2, you're dealing with a guy who has mercenaries. I mean, that guy basically has an entire fucking country of guys under his command.
Actually, he is a warlord, so that's like the first thing they say is like a warlord. So kind of makes sense that he has like an entire such a huge group of people.
Oh, if he's a warlord, he literally has a country under his control.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But like, to your point though, like I really like Uncharted 3 more than 2, as we discussed, and I think that ratio was balanced a bit more in the third one. So of course there were you did kill a lot of guys in the third one, but it didn't seem quite as excessive as the second one. To me personally, I think that's part of the reason I liked it more. But I'm not saying the second one was a bad game by any stretch of the imagination. There were some magical moments. I think any time you got to climb up somewhere really high in the second game was amazing.
Yeah, especially like the part in the middle, like somewhere in the middle, where you climb on the huge hotel with like the pool on top. In Uncharted 2, you remember that sequence?
Yeah.
Like I had goosebumps like a couple of times. Just even like when I played it like the third time or something, I still got goosebumps when you reach like the top and you like view over the entire city. Yeah, it's pretty great.
I think my favorite sequence in Uncharted 2 was where you're climbing you're in the shrine and you're climbing up the big knife-shaped deity or whatever, and you know, like kind of like a puzzle style, pulling down those blades. Like that was amazing. I died so many times by falling.
Yeah,
but it was an amazing scene, amazing graphics, amazing atmosphere, just fantastic. But
I also think like Uncharted, like you maybe wanted a little bit more realistic than I do, because I think Uncharted is also like the sequences where you're like hanging from a ledge and you're shooting down a helicopter with like a pistol. Like stuff like that happens in Uncharted as well. It is like a high octane like action movie, and yeah, I think that the amount of enemies reflect like that feeling.
Maybe. I've played. I remember I played Uncharted 2 like the first time, and I was like, this is like really, this isn't bad, but this is kind of really overrated. And then I played Uncharted 3, and it was like, holy shit, this is balls out amazing. And then I went back to Uncharted 2 because I really thought I'd missed something, you know, missed some crucial detail after playing the third one, and I had exactly the same reactions, like, no, this just isn't as good. Like, it just isn't. But
you're a weird guy.
Yeah, that is a goddamn true story. So. I'm gonna come.
You're like the guy who likes, for example, like Dark Knight Rises better than The Dark Knight. Like that's so weird.
I literally am that guy.
Yeah, we actually have like the exactly same conversation almost, where everybody in the world except you thinks Dark Knight Rises is lesser than The Dark Knight, and here, like, everybody in the world thinks Uncharted 3 is lesser than Uncharted 2. So.
I think that's a less of a gulf though. I think the Uncharted 3 to Uncharted 2. I think, but yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I guess we're going to come on to my great sequel, which isn't BioShock Infinite.
No, really?
No, it's my sequel is actually BioShock Infinite. So
maybe in another universe, I wouldn't have guessed that it would be BioShock Infinite.
So hey, I can't. You can't meddle with perfection. Like, I can't, you know.
Literally, almost every single thing you said about Uncharted, like about the people he's killing, I can say about BioShock Infinite as well.
That is true.
And I could add like him eating out of the trash all the time. Like that's awesome.
I think for me, I'm probably, I don't know, if I was to have a gun to my head and be, asked what is my favorite video game of all time, I think BioShock Infinite is definitely a first ballot to be top of the list. So, but speaking directly to sequel status, I wasn't that keen on BioShock, the original BioShock. I played it, I enjoyed it, I finished it. It was good. Definitely the early parts were really, really atmospheric and really well done. But that was a game for me that felt like it went on just a little bit too long. Like the end chapters definitely seemed lesser than the early chapters, and it was a fun game. I mean, Rapture was a pretty interesting location for sure. It was good, yeah. But like Uncharted 2, I didn't quite get the really intense love for that. I was just like, this is Half-Life underwater, basically. Like, yeah, I mean, it's good, but it's not like the best thing ever. And then BioShock Infinite came out, and it was like, okay, this is the best thing ever. Like, it's amazing. Like from the moment you shot up in that chair into the sky to that floating city, and I don't know, I just walked through that entire game with my mouth on the floor. Like, it was amazing. I loved every single second of it. I loved the way that there are so many ways you can fight the enemies with, like, the different vigors and the skylines and the pulling things out of tears and stuff. The world building was phenomenal. The science fiction plotline was deep and mysterious. I mean, I've played it through twice. Have I played it through 3 times? I think twice. But I still don't completely understand the ins and outs of it. Like, it's amazing. Like, I don't entirely understand exactly what Songbird is, for example. And then there are so many amazing set pieces, and the DLC for that game kicks fucking ass, man. Especially the second one where you can play as Elizabeth. Like,
you
don't agree?
I didn't like DLC. I didn't like what it did, like story-wise. Like trying to tie it up in with a nice little bow. Like it's I didn't like it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like the game, but I think the sequel of the DLC was actually like kind of lessened the experience for me, in my opinion.
That's interesting. I think there's still enough in there open for interpretation. Like as I was saying, as I've said many times, especially regarding Interstellar, I don't require everything to be tied into a neat little bow for me. Like, I like to do my own thinking. Like, so I don't think it was quite on the level of Interstellar with everything. This is this and that is that. That's your lot. Like, I don't think it was quite that severe. I think it was open to interpretation, but whether you agree with the ending or not, I think in the DLC, for example, there were so many great things. Like I specifically remember going into I can't quite remember his name. Fink's personal quarters. Like investigating that place, where you had to change the hand on the giant clock to enter different parts of his house and stuff. Amazing. Like that sequence alone is worth the entry price.
Really?
Yeah. I loved it. Like,
I disagree.
I think the difference between me and you is fundamentally, like, I'm a huge fan of that game, like you are of The Last of Us,
But I'm also a huge fan of BioShock Infinite. I was super excited for like the DLC.
Oh.
Like, it was my second favorite game of that year.
Interesting.
Of course, The Last of Us was way better and had also way better DLC. But yeah.
See, I don't agree with that at all.
Yeah, because you're wrong. Yeah, that's why.
I'm also a fan of The Last of Us too. I give it lots of shit, but I like The Last of Us. It was a great game, and I think, as I've mentioned, story-wise, on a whole different level from anything else that was ever made. I had some problems with the gameplay, mind you, but
I think I had some problems with BioShock Infinite gameplay as well. Like the shooting was kind of dumbed down compared to the first one, but it was still fun. But I think also like there actually it noticed me way more that how many enemies you kill in front of like Elizabeth, and she's completely like after the second person you kill, and she doesn't even notice it anymore. It seems like.
Yeah.
And she's not somebody that's used to like murder in her life. Like not like in The Last of Us, right? At least Ellie, she knows the kind of world she lives in.
Yeah.
You have to be tough. Like it's there's no way otherwise she would have survived that long. But in her, she's like a super sheltered human being. And then like the second person that gets murdered, like she doesn't care.
Yeah.
And there's also the way you're talking about letters.
Yeah.
I fucking hate that lock picking after a while. It just really irritated the hell out of me. Like every time she has like that really cutesy little line, I can pick that lock for you, stuff like that. I think I heard that like thousands of times. Like that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
And story-wise, that was kind of stupid because sometimes she's like mad at you in the story.
Yeah.
But then like when there's a lock to be picking, a lock to be picked, she's like, I can pick that lock for you really happily. Even like 5 seconds later, she's angry at you again.
Yeah.
So it really took me out of the story a couple of times.
When you're talking about direct story, I personally enjoyed the science fiction elements of BioShock Infinite a lot, and I don't know, I got caught up in the drama, the characters and stuff like that's BioShock Infinite is actually a game that made me shed tears actually, made me shed a few tears at various peak points in the game. So I don't know. Yeah, I think you need to have a good emotional connection to get that, and I really felt that with BioShock Infinite. I felt it with The Last of Us too. But directly comparative, there's no doubt that The Last of Us has a better, I wouldn't say a better story than the BioShock Infinite, because it blatantly doesn't have a better story, but it has better characters. I mean, the Last of Us is basically an A to B type story. But the characters are so real in The Last of Us that it totally owns your soul when you play it. Like amazing. Like still, it's been a couple of years now since The Last of Us was released. Hasn't been better. It's amazing. Like totally amazing story or character-driven experience. But I really enjoyed the deep science fiction elements. In the end with all that kind of multiple universe stuff, and it was so fucking badass, man.
You never read comics, right?
No, I didn't read the comics, no.
Because the alternate universe stuff, I like that, but like in comic books, that happens like all the time. So that's why I wasn't like that blown away by it, because that's like.
I watched Sliders when I was like 15, so. And Bragg doesn't even know what that is. He's like, what the fuck?
I know what it is. But actually, like the way it happens in the BioShock Infinite, like that kind of stuff you see like quite. Even the way like doing like one event and then closing like all the other like universes, so that one event doesn't go to happen. Like that kind of stuff happens in some comic books I've read before, but it was really done really well, and it doesn't happen that much in video games at all. I think it's like the first time.
Yeah.
Where you have like a real universe storyline. And one thing about BioShock Infinite, I really liked the design of the world. The world just looked really, really awesome.
Yeah.
Like even though it's filled with like sky Nazis and like super, I would really like to go to to Colombia. It really seems like an amazing place to go for vacation. Like just walking around the streets, hearing like the 50s like Beach Boys. You know what I mean? Like, do you remember that scene in the beginning?
Of course.
That was so awesome. Like. It's one of the things I liked about it as well. Like the music is really good. Like especially when they do like alternate history music, like of songs you already know, but they do like the 50s version of it, like stuff like that is also really amazing.
Oh man, my brain was turned off in the beginning of BioShock Infinite, like completely. Like I don't know, so I have a couple of like you mentioned the Beach Boys thing. I'm a huge Beach Boys fan. Not a huge Beach Boys fan actually. I love Pet Sounds. Who doesn't like Pet Sounds? It's an amazing record, really great. So I love God Only Knows, and when the barbershop quartet, was singing God Only Knows, I was like, hey, amazing, God Only Knows, and it didn't even occur to me like, why are they singing God Only Knows? Because this is like the 30s or something, or the 20s or some shit like that. It didn't even enter my brain like why they would be singing it. Like,
there's also a point actually later on where on the piano want to have fun, like the first time that Elizabeth is dancing, like she's dancing on that song, like at the beach sequence. Yeah, and it's like the piano version of that. It's like, oh, that's so perfect. That's such a good moment.
Oh man, it just makes me want to play that game again. I tell you the greatest miss for me though, totally, like, and shows. Like, I think shows part of my character as well. The raffle scene, where they, I didn't understand what was going on during that scene. Like, they were like, you, sir, you've got the lucky prize. You've got the lucky winning baseball. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then they have this couple chained together. I'm like, oh, you get to throw the first ball. I'm like, why do they want me to throw a ball at these couple here? I don't really understand. Like, oh, so I was like, are you going to throw the ball? And I was like, yeah, okay, I'll throw the ball at them, sure. So
you threw the ball?
Yeah. But the thing is, I think racism is so far out of my wheelhouse. I didn't even fucking realize that one of them was white and one of them was black. For me, that's nothing, like, at all. It didn't even occur to me, like, that was the point. Like, it was only afterwards, like, okay, now I get what they're saying. It's like, that's what you get when you live in a foreign country and only date foreign girls. Like, racism is so far, like, removed from your way of thinking that it doesn't even occur to me that one of them's white and one of them's black, and that's frowned upon. That's pretty funny. But man, that game just totally amazing. And I heard they're restaffing the company, so maybe there'll be a sequel. But I kind of hope they think long and hard about that before they make one. Yeah.
I don't think I even need a sequel, particularly. Like,
it's such a singular experience. I think in some ways it's on its own level. It's like I think it took everything out of the team that developed it, frankly. I imagine them as like spent shells walking around like, I can't do another BioShock Infinite. I can't do it.
I can understand. Yeah, I think their work process was really like weird. They cut a lot of stuff like all the time. Like, if you look at like E3 videos and stuff, you can see like a lot of gameplay of things that never made it into the game. Like, even like the first trailer had her like rescuing a horse with like her magic ability, and there was like this moment where she was trying to rescue the horse, and she opens like a blip, like one of those tears, and she's like in London or something like that, or New York, and you see like a movie theater, and they're playing like Star Wars. That's like in one of the trailers. I was like, holy shit, this is going to be really exciting. But
that was in the game.
No.
Yeah, she pulls open the tear to Paris, and there's the cinema playing like Revenge of the Sith or something there. Do you not remember that?
Not really. No.
See, you weren't paying attention. No, it happens. She opens a tear to Paris, and there's the theater playing Revenge of the Sith there. Yeah, that happens in the game. But
I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's a minor moment though. It's nothing big though. Because she like opens it, looks around for like 2 seconds, and then closes that tear again.
I know what you mean. It's like very much in the beginning of the game. Actually, one of the first times you met her, right?
Or you haven't met her yet. I think you're looking at her.
You haven't met her yet. You see her through like, oh.
Yeah, that's it. That's the time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but in the trailer, at least, it was completely different. Like, she tried to save a horse. They're not even horses in Colombia at all. Like, there are no animals. I think maybe some dogs, but no horses.
There's robot ones.
Yeah, they're robot horses. So that kind of stuff is all cut out. So I think they're on the cutting room floor, I think. So yeah, but I really hope they would make like maybe something not like another BioShock.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like I say, I'm a bit iffy on how I feel about a BioShock sequel. So, like you say, it's unnecessary. I just think it's unnecessary. But if they're gonna make it, God damn it, make it good. But hey, that's our opinion on gaming sequels. But what's your opinion, old valued listener? Sound off in the comments section like Brack has to sound out his own name when he writes it down. And with that, we've come to the end of this week's Visit the Ocean Floor. Please feel free to check us out on Twitter, YouTube, and all that shite that Human Metal usually whinges on about. And please join us next time the entire island of Manhattan rises vertically into the sky like a giant penis. Until then, this is the Radiophonic Sea Creatures Junior.